The following is a conversation with Jigyasu Rajput. He's a third-year computer science guy who's built some seriously impressive things. He got selected in Google Summer of Code 2025 under Python Software Foundation, where he contributed majorly to Intel, Wagtails, and Python Argentina. Apart from this, he has also built tools which actually help to create an impact, like GSoC-Spy, which is an open source platform which changed how thousands of developers track their GSoC competition. He has also built NeuralMeet, which is a platform to chat with custom AI bots. He has also built from scratch a Exness clone, which basically is a complete options trading system. But what truly sets his journey apart is his story. Despite not being from a good college or from an environment which is filled with opportunities, he managed to break through with his curiosity, consistency, and the willingness to keep improving. In this episode, we have talked about that journey, how one can improve themselves in an environment where people around them aren't motivated enough, how one can keep improving themselves in silence. We have talked about motivation, grit, and many more things. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's start from the very beginning. I would love if you can talk about your initial J days and how you got into your college.
Okay, so J, I gave my first attempt in back in 2022, and I failed it miserably. Got like 50 or 40 percentile, and then I took a drop 2023 में and failed again 60 percentile आई. And my father said कि अब like कोई पास वाला कॉलेज है उसमें ले लेते हैं. And then I took in EBS Institute of Technology, पास में ही था घर के. So after taking in my first year, मैं काफ़ी बंदों को देखता था कि इधर उधर मस्ती कर रहे हैं, गर्लफ्रेंड बना रहे हैं. But I solely focused on programming. कि like पहले let's strong the basics. I took a course called CS50. उसके बाद I took another course which is CS50W first year के अंदर. Started doing DSA, started doing competitive programming. उसके बाद in my second year, I started contributing to open source. तब फिर GSoC आ गया. And yeah, I got in.
Amazing. I want to talk a little more about Bhaiya when you got into college. So when a lot of people are not really able to get into good colleges, uh, the mindset which they are having, it kind of becomes like their potential is kind of less. But you are someone who, despite not even failing once, but failing twice, which is very heavy on your mental health and also on your mindset, especially when you are a teenager and when you're not that much mature. I want to talk about how you handled and how you controlled, how you lifted yourself up and still kept going and still kept working hard.
I mean, it's all about grit, I think, because at that moment of time मेरे दिमाग में कुछ thought नहीं था. I was like यार इससे बुरा तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता. Like मेरे को ऐसा फील होता था दिमाग में कि like nothing could have gone wrong other than failing J कि कितना खराब कॉलेज मिला है. बिकॉज किसी भी बंदे से वाइब मैच नहीं होती इस कॉलेज के अंदर. आई वाज थिंकिंग क्या ये सारे लोग फिर कर रहे हैं तो पढ़ भी नहीं रहे ढंग से. एंड उस मोमेंट पे आई थिंक दैट वाज माय इनिशियल मोटिवेशन कि यार इन लोगों के साथ घुल मिल के रहने वाली जो चीज़ है वो मेरे को नहीं करनी. बिकॉज वो लोग दे वर जस्ट फोकसिंग ऑन अकेडमिक्स एंड कुछ भी प्रोग्रामिंग इन सब के बारे में नहीं पता था उन लोगों को. सो प्राइमरी मोटिवेशन तो वही था फर्स्ट ईयर में. देन सेकेंड ईयर में आई लकली गॉट a few friends who were into programming. He was also targeting into GSoC. उसका भी GSoC निकल गया. So I think that was another motivation जो second year में आया. But primary motivation in my first year was कि बच्चे बहुत खराब थे कॉलेज के. तो like उनसे थोड़ा crowd से separate होना है. Yeah.
So was the first year in a way somehow lonely Bhaiya because you were not able to associate with people of your college and peer group of your college? And was there any time at any kind of thought that maybe I should be a part of these clubs or maybe of these groups which are in your college just in order to socialize more? How were you able to fight those thoughts?
I mean, थोड़ा बहुत तो lonely होता ही है. Like if you need to go fast, you need to go alone. If you're not going alone, you're not going fast. So उस time पे तो I was going fast, so I was alone. But in my first year college में like clubs भी join करने नहीं देते. Like it's a thing in our college के second year से start करते हैं बंदे clubs में join करना, and you need to maintain 80% attendance in your first year. Second year में 75, third year में 70 कर देते हैं. But हाँ, थोड़ी roughly around 70-75 इतनी रहनी चाहिए. So हाँ, I would say कि second year में थोड़ा बहुत club किसी को join करना तो कर सकता है. मैंने कभी भी नहीं किया, third year में भी नहीं किया. Let alone first year. First year में तो कोई कर भी नहीं सकता. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about your journey of doing DSC and competitive programming in your first year, Via. I really want to talk about how you switched from doing CP to started contributing to open source. Because it is a general perception that once you start doing DSC and especially when you also start doing competitive programming, then more or less you'll be able to get a good job in some good companies. So why did you switch from doing CP to contributing to open source in your second year?
I mean, the primary motivation was the money. Like I needed immediate money, which was GSoC, like $3,000 stipend. But what was even a bigger motivation was कि, like I was not enjoying DSA as much as like development. मेरे को DSA तो ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं आया. Competitive programming में thriller फिर भी I kind of liked it. But I think अब तक तो छूट ही चुका है because I didn't continue it a lot. Like I think 3 to 4 months मैंने करा था competitive programming और DSA. But वो भी थोड़ा aggressive किया था. I used to post weekly on LinkedIn. तो मेरी पुरानी post पे जाएगा एकदम तो दिख जाएंगे सारी. बट उसके बाद मेरे को रियलाइज़ हो गया कि आई एम नॉट इनटू DSA नॉट ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं आता. थोड़ा बहुत कर लेते हैं बट हाँ जितनी रिक्वायरमेंट है इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड द बेसिक्स ऑफ प्रोग्रामिंग एंड हाउ डेटा इज स्टोर्ड. That's it. In order to improve your problem solving skills, because intuition development में काफ़ी मैटर करता है कि like the way you think, the way you define your architecture, system कैसे डिज़ाइन करना है properly, वो बिना DSA के नहीं होगा. Like you need to build your basics first. You need to build your intuition, problem solving skills. So I think you should be doing DSA. अभी तो थोड़ा कम कर दिया मैंने but I must be doing it.
Yeah. So would you say that the amount of rewards or the chances of you being placed after doing DSA is similar if you are contributing to open source, or is it less?
I mean, I would say open source is a little bit competitive. थोड़ा सा हो जाता है यहाँ पे क्योंकि बहुत भीड़ है ओपन सोर्स में. मतलब इतनी भी ज़्यादा नहीं है बट आई वुड से इट इज़ एट पार विद द DSA वाला सीन. Because if you're in a good college, it's easier for you to move on to a DSA and CP path and get into a good company rather than looking for opportunities in open source. So मतलब वो थोड़ा सा बेटर ऑप्शन हो जाएगा अगर तुम्हारी कंपनी तुम्हारे कॉलेज में कोई भी ऐसी कंपनी है जो गूगल माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में आती है, गूगल माइक्रोसॉफ्ट आती है, या फिर पहले किसी बंदे ने माइक्रोसॉफ्ट या अमेजोन ये सब निकाल रखा है. सो इट्स इजियर फॉर यू टू गेट अ रेफरल और जस्ट कंपनी आई तो you crack that company. But if you're in Tier-3 college, opportunities बहुत कम है, then you need to look out for open source program like LFX, GSoC या फिर और भी बहुत सारे like European server of Codec and then server of Bitcoin है. So you should be looking out for these opportunities and हाँ open source में काफ़ी पैसा है and remote job में भी काफ़ी पैसा है, so you should explore once.
Amazing. So let's talk more about your GSoC journey, Via. How did you get started with it? And could you tell more about GSoC and open source in general?
So GSoC की जर्नी approximately यार अक्टूबर में स्टार्ट हुई. अक्टूबर में I was contributing to Python Argentina. Python Argentina में approximately 4 to 5 PRs raised थी and they were not at all active in terms of reviewing my PRs या फिर answering कि they are coming into GSoC or not. So I moved on from Python Software Foundation to Jupyter Lab. Jupyter Lab में approximately 2 से 2.5 महीना मैंने contribute किया. I wasn't raising a lot of PRs, like 2 PR raise करी थी बस, वो भी दोनों close हो गई ultimately. But I was attending their weekly meetings, तो वहाँ पे काफ़ी सीखने को मिला था. Like even if लाइक उनका मैंने सिर्फ कोड बेस्ड लोकल सेटअप करा और सिस्टम पे चलाया, बट जस्ट रनिंग देयर टेस्ट आई लर्न अ लॉट कि टेस्ट कैसे रन करते हैं. आई डिस्कवर्ड अ न्यू थिंग बिकॉज मेरे को पता नहीं था कि टेस्ट क्या होते हैं, एंड टू एंड टेस्ट क्या होते हैं. सो आई लर्न अबाउट टेस्टिंग ओवर देयर. आफ्टर दैट आई मूव्ड ऑन टू देन आई रियलाइज्ड कि जुपिटर लैब भी इस बार GSoC में नहीं आने वाली. सो उसके बाद आई मूव्ड ऑन टू वैकटेल. वैकटेल से भी पहले आई वाज doing local setup of other organizations जैसे I don't remember the name but learning equality या फिर और 2-3 organization थी, but ultimately Wagtail पे आया. Wagtail पे approximately I raised 5 to 6 or 7 PRs I guess. वहाँ पे थोड़ा competition ज़्यादा हो रहा था, उसको छोड़ा. उसके बाद I finally came to see Ubuntu in Python Software Foundation. अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2 फरवरी को मैंने शायद ज्वाइन करी थी. उसी दिन मीटिंग थी. सो 9 PM पे तो मैंने ज्वाइन करी. मेरे को वाइब थोड़ी ठीक लगी आती कि लाइक मेंटेनेंस भी काफ़ी अच्छे हैं. तो उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डे मैंने PR रेस करना स्टार्ट कर दिया. पूरे फरवरी आई थिंक 8 PR रेस करता था एवरी डे. सो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 20 PRs रेस करी वहाँ पे. एंड या तब सबसे टॉप पे था मैं CV पेंटोन पे. एंड आई गॉट इन.
So, for someone who wants to get into GSoC or who in general wants to contribute to open source, what advice would you like to give them that how shall they get started? Um, what technologies should they learn and what is the way through which? Because like you were contributing to some of these organizations and then you got to know that they are not even coming to GSoC. So what strategies should one choose in order to make sure that they're contributing to an organization which is going to be having higher chances of coming into GSoC?
सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज ओवर थिंक नहीं करना. मैं तो बहुत ज़्यादा ओवर थिंक करता था कि लाइक ये आएगी कि नहीं आएगी, ये कैसे होगा, ये मैं इंटरनेट हमसे बात नहीं करता. बट लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगनिंग. इफ समवन इज लाइक गेटिंग स्टार्टेड एंड अभी कॉलेज ज्वाइन किया है, देन आई वुड से जस्ट स्टार्ट विद DSA. स्टार्ट डूइंग DSA एंड बेसिक्स ऑफ प्रोग्रामिंग. उसके बाद आई वुड से चूज़ अ लैंग्वेज जिसमें DSA करना है, C++ या जावा या जो भी पाइथन जो भी चीज़ें चूज़ करनी है. You would find a lot of tutorials on YouTube. थोड़ा explore करो what is tech, what are remote jobs, how what is big tech and all. Like बिल्कुल zero है. अगर तुम्हें कुछ भी नहीं पता DSA क्या होता है ये भी नहीं पता, then I'm telling that. इसके बाद I would say थोड़ा बहुत DSA करने के बाद you can jump to development, which is learning HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Then you can either choose development in Python or you can choose in JavaScript या कोई और stack. But popular are these both Python and JavaScript, which is one stack, and Django या फिर Fast API या Flask in Python. So after doing development, you can move to DevOps or AI or ML and other stuff or Web3. So first year mainly focus करो थोड़ा explore करने में and try for GSoC कि first year में हो जाए. So it's a better advantage. उसके बाद in second year I would say try again for GSoC if you don't get in. So I think that would be the way. Like पहले basics करो, फिर उसके बाद full stack. जितनी ज़्यादा full stack आएगी उतना easy हो जाएगा तुम्हें open source में contribute.
Amazing. So, how has your life changed after you got into GSoC? Bhaiya? Are you getting more opportunities and how has that helped you in your career?
I mean, the only benefit has been कि care आ गई खत्म. इसके अलावा like there has not been any benefit. Another I would say I connected to a lot of people, like connections थोड़े improve हो गए. I got into Super 30, जो हरकिरत सिंह के भैया वाला है. I got a lot of connections there. थोड़ा Twitter पे reach मिल जाती है. I think that's it. For resume, I would another advantage is your GitHub profile improves a lot, and your resume थोड़ा ठीक हो जाता है. So yeah, those are the benefits. Other than that, I don't think huge life-changing benefit आ गया कुछ as such. Life is same, still grinding. Yeah.
Amazing. I want to talk more about the kind of people who you surround yourself with here. You got into GSoC, so you met amazing people. Then you also got into Super 30, which is a team of like 30 to 50 people by Kirat Singh. So, what differences do you see in these people when you compare them with the people of, let's say, your college or some uh, random other colleges? What qualities do these people who are at these positions in tech or in general in life are what qualities are differentiating them?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I would categorize like ऐसे करना नहीं चाहिए, but still I would categorize into three levels. For example, there is this guy who is like at the level one. What he is doing is he's going to college. He calls a placement, but like considering a guy like I'm considering the scenario for tier 3 college. I'm not talking about tier 2 or tier 1 college. So there is a guy who is in tier 3 college. थोड़ा घर पे like कॉलेज की पढ़ाई करता है, goes to regularly college, थोड़ा बहुत DSA कर लिया, that's it. Depending on the college placement, की college की placement हो जाएगी, nice set है. There is a second guy who is me, like जो काफ़ी ज़्यादा I wouldn't like I'm between two or three. I consider myself. Like, there is a second guy who is constantly learning, नई opportunities grab करता है. कि like इस opportunity पे target कर लिया है, इसी पे करना है, पूरा focus. And then comes a third guy, which is like complete opportunity grabber, जो हर opportunity में apply कर देगा and हर चीज़ में like तोड़ फोड़, going to gym, grinding, into self development and stuff. So you need to get that third guy, which is the media chat type. So this type ka you should aim for, because I wouldn't take the name, but like I know a few guys like जो ट्विटर पे बहुत तगड़ा पोस्ट करते हैं, काफ़ी सीरीज भी आती है, प्लस जॉब्स भी मिल जाती हैं उन्हें, लाइक बिकॉज दे आर रियली गुड एट व्हाट दे डू. दे आर लाइक सिर्फ शो ऑफ नहीं करते, बिकॉज दे नो व्हाट दे नीड टू डू एट द राइट टाइम. बिकॉज उन्हें अपॉर्चुनिटी तभी मिलती है बिकॉज दे आर गुड एट अ सर्टेन स्किल, एंड वो अपॉर्चुनिटी उन्हें राइट टाइम पे मिल जाती है. सो आई थिंक दैट इज द थर्ड गाय दैट यू नीड टू बी instead of the first guy. Maybe strive for the second के बाद भागते हैं.
Amazing.
So I think this is the main spectrum of people.
Do you think, Bhaiya, that the only differentiating factor which is going to be significant is going to be hard work and hard work only? Or do you think that there exists some other quality in these people?
I mean, the third guy which I talked about is not only putting in hard work, he's putting in smart work, because he is applying to every opportunity that he looks at. So I think it comes with a smart work, because apply karna is not like throwing your resume and कि भाई मेरे को hire कर. It's not about that. It's about strategically crafting a message कि भाई इसको इस टाइम पे इस तरीके से मैसेज भेजना भी चाहिए कि नहीं भेजना चाहिए, क्या मैं उतने मेरे में स्किल है कि नहीं है, या फिर मेरे को किस टाइम पे क्या टेक्नोलॉजी सीखनी चाहिए. दिस ऑल कम्स विद स्मार्ट वर्क. यू कैन नॉट लाइक brute force hard works. Like ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि you are solving 1,000 questions on DSA. Like I mean, the guy who's solving 500 to 800 questions and the guy who's solving 1,400 questions, मैं लगभग सेम ही मानता हूँ. I don't know, I might be wrong, but हाँ, that's pure brute force hard work, I would say. That's not a smart work thingy. So you need to be smart in order to get successful.
Okay, okay. And for this third type of guy, Bhaiya, if somebody wants to become, is somebody striving to become this third type of guy who is smartly applying to these opportunities, how does one uh, first of all find these opportunities, and then how does one know that which opportunity to apply for, and when do they have to apply for? So could you tell more about applying for these internships or jobs?
So first thing is like the more darts you throw, the better your odds get on getting selected in anything. But the thing is that एक अपॉर्चुनिटी अगर तुम्हें मिल जाती है, then you start looking कि यार इसको मैं रिपीट कैसे करूँ, कि लाइक मेरे को मेरा इस चीज़ में सिलेक्शन हो गया, तो इस जो हाई आया है, मेरा डोपामिन में हाई स्पाइक आया है, इसको मैं दोबारा रिक्रिएट कैसे करूँ. If you start looking for organizations, you start connecting with people, you automatically be more creative and be outgoing in terms of selecting those people who are actually into the third type of a guy. So I think थोड़ा बहुत वहाँ से पता चलता है. I was not aware about some of Bitcoin and European some of code. थोड़ा बहुत अब पता चला है. So I think that's the way, because you connect with more people. Just cold DM करो LinkedIn पे who are doing great stuff. Like what are you doing? Ask them कि कौन सी opportunities में apply कर रहे हो, and let's do it together, something like that. So I think that's the primary source of getting the opportunities. That's it. It comes naturally in one word if I have to answer.
Amazing, Bhaiya. I want to talk more about building your profile, Bhaiya. So whether it is X or whether it is LinkedIn, what is like, for example, in our college, from first year it is advised that you should be having a good LinkedIn profile and then you should be posting stuff on it regularly. But there is another side which is like, first of all, you should be focusing more on your skills, and only after a certain point shall you be focusing on building your profile. I recently saw a tweet from someone, I don't remember it exactly, and don't also remember who tweeted it, but it was something like, uh, building connections without having skills is not really worth it. So I would love if you talk more about it, like, uh, when shall you start focusing more on building your profile publicly, and or should you be focusing initially only on your skills?
I mean, you don't need to necessarily focus on building a profile. कि मैं profile अच्छी कर रहा हूँ. You don't need to focus on that. What you need to focus on is just improving your skills. क्योंकि जैसे जैसे तुम्हारी skills improve करती जाएंगी and you are being transparent and building in public. Like for example, you did, let's suppose you learned about Docker today. So you're posting about what are Docker images, कैसे डॉकर फाइल लिखते हैं. सो यू आर जस्ट क्रिएटिंग अ स्मॉल लिंक्डइन पोस्ट अबाउट इट एंड पोस्टिंग इट वीकली, लेट्स से. सो आई थिंक दैट्स a low effort and high long term reward type of thing, because बिल्कुल ही पोस्ट ना करना उस पर is a bad thing, but पोस्ट ही करते जाना is also a bad thing because it's not going to take you anywhere. You need to have basic skills and just build in public side by side post करो. I wouldn't say कि I wouldn't recommend कि बिल्कुल ही just go and start posting on LinkedIn and stuff. हाँ, skills सीखो and जो build कर रहे हैं उसको उड़ाते.
What do you think about shit posting, specifically on XP?
It's an interesting topic. So I mean, it depends on person to person. Like if it suits your personality, then do it. If you're doing it for fun, do it. If it's not wasting your time, do it. Like you cannot force shit posting ki like let's start doing it. मेरे को तो करनी है. Like you wouldn't get the reach on Twitter at this point. And it depends on person to person. You can try. If you like it, you can do it. It's just like a social media. कि मेरे को Instagram पे post करना है या नहीं करना. मेरे से क्यों पूछ रहे हो? तुम्हारी मर्जी है. तुम्हारा time waste हो रहा है. You need to do self analysis or self introspection about yourself कि मेरा time कहाँ पे जा रहा है. Is that my long term priority? क्या मेरे को इससे कुछ outcome मिल रहा है? I think that's a decision that you need to take by yourself, and no one can do.
Amazing, Bhaiya. When I asked you, Bhaiya, that what kept you going when you were not able to get into a good college, you said that it is the grit and it is the mindset which you are having. I want to talk more about how do you build that much of a strong grit, and how can you develop your mindset so strong?
So you can build a mindset either by two things. One is either by experiences or by asking questions. So if you ask a lot of questions, by stories and asking a lot of questions. So stories can actually change your mindset. I read it in a book. I think it was 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. One is people and one is teens. I read teens one, like long time back when I was 16, 17 years old. So stories can actually change your mindset, and being curious can actually change your mindset. Stories, in a way, reading books like 3 books I recommend. One is Can't Hurt Me, another is Atomic Habits, and the third one is Deep Work. If like these 3 books are enough to build your mindset, like to set you in a right direction. But this is how you build mindset, by actually implementing on things rather than just talking about it.
And that is also how you build grit, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. So I want to talk about the journey in tech in general. Basically, what you just keep doing is you're sitting on your desk and you are coding for hours, and people generally have to do it for years. So how do you make sure that you are not burning out and you are doing hard work, but at the same time you are staying healthy, and basically how do you balance everything and how do you keep yourself healthy, and basically about time management?
I mean, you would like, मतलब मैं तो ये बोलूँगा कि if you're in your first year, you don't need to focus a lot on yourself. Like, just push yourself. Like first year में कुछ बिगड़ने नहीं वाला, just work hard. But when you have a lot of free time, like weekends पे या फिर छुट्टियों में अगर मुझे छुट्टी पड़ गई या फिर around दिवाली or दशहरा holidays, what I would recommend is join gym. Uh, Try to be consistent there because lifting weights can actually impact your health in a really positive way because you are not just building muscle, but you are also building a strong mindset to actually push forward in your life. So I think that's a good reason that you should be going to the gym. And yeah, these activities can actually help you be emotionally strong and in terms of mindset भी तुम्हारा अच्छा हो जाएगा. So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Do you consider yourself as a hustler or a grinder? How do you like, if somebody was to ask you, how do you identify yourself? What would you say?
I'm neither. I'm just curious. I like exploring things कि first principle से सोचते हैं कि क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे. Let's zoom out and think कि how things are going on and let's think everything from the first principle. बिल्कुल basic से पढ़ के सोचते हैं. So I am just genuinely curious about things and I ask a lot of questions. I think that's the thing. And बाकी बात रही hustler वाली, I don't think I'm that of a huge hustler, but yeah, I like working hard. That's it. I like pushing myself.
Amazing. Vijay. With that, we have come to the end of the podcast, Priya. In the end section of the podcast, we are having a section where we request the guest to give some advice or some end remarks. So we would love if you could give some advice to the audience, which is the college students out there, maybe not only for tech, but for life in general, based on your experiences which you have had till now.
I mean, the single advice I would give is कि this is the age for like 5 से 6 साल in which you need to work hard. Like really hard. It can really set your trajectory in the right direction. I still remember I used to watch Amanda Tarwal's video a lot. काफी काफी देखा करता था. I used to get a lot really inspired कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, कितना करना है. Then थोड़ा अपना टाइम टेबल बनाता था. Then I used to focus a lot on myself कि यार let's highly optimize our time in terms of कहाँ मैं अपना ध्यान दे रहा हूँ, कहाँ नहीं दे रहा. Did a lot of meditation and stuff. So I would say this is your time to actually invest in yourself and grow as a human being, not only in your career but as a human, because neuroplasticity generally starts declining around 25 to 26 years old. So this is the like कहते हैं ना जब लोहा गर्म है तब जोर से थोड़ा मारना चाहिए. So like लोहा अभी गर्म है, अभी जोर से थोड़ा मारो. मेहनत करो. That's it. I would say.
Amazing, Vijay, amazing. I think that will help a lot of students. Thank you so much, Vijay, for doing this podcast. We really, really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for taking out your time, Vijay.
Sure, bhai, sure. Not a problem.
Thank you.